What is up, guys, and welcome for another Star Citizen video. This one we're going to be talking about rental mining, and this is really kind of just like the entry point into just kind of getting into mining in this game. So I'll talk about the cost to rent a Prospector and also kind of the potential value you can get per run. Now, we're heading down to the refinery right now so we can kind of show you where you can go to actually rent these things. The thing about the rental Prospector is you will not be able to modify its fittings. You won't be able to change the mining head. You won't be able to change the modules. It's kind of just as it comes, and you're going to be really limited on the amount of power that you can output, and that's going to affect the amount of rocks that you can do. So as you can see right here, for 1 day of rental, it's going to cost us a little over 51,000 AUEC. Now, I have already rented this. I got rented one yesterday, just to kind of do a test run, but I'm going to go ahead and do like the full mining process for you guys. So in case you're new to Star Citizen or you have been away for a while, mining has changed a little bit. They've updated the user interface, which I actually do enjoy. They added things like mining gadgets, which I don't particularly find any use of. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of go up here to the hangars and halves. We're going to go ahead and get the Prospector out and go ahead and do some mining. And what we're going to do is we're not going to go to the Aeron Halo. We're not going to go planet side or moon side. We're going to find rocks out and around Arc L1 here, to show you that you don't have to actually travel very far to get resources. So I'm going to go in here. We got about 6 hours left with this rental. It is in Hangar 1. The first trip I took out with this rental, I ended up getting a pretty good rock, and I ended up selling the raw ore for that for about 23,000 credits, which is almost half of what the actual rental cost. And I haven't done really a whole lot with it since then. So what that means is you can actually go in here with a rental and make your money back for the rental pretty easily. So let's go ahead and enter the ship here. We'll get everything all up and running, and I'll show you guys how to find these rocks and kind of the mining process and what you're all kind of looking for. I'm gonna do this as uncut as possible so you can kind of see the full process here. So we can go and get in the pilot seat here. They have moved, since I played, they moved a few of the hotkeys around and everything. So, and scanning has changed a little bit as well. So I'm gonna hold down left Alt and hit in, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna basically call in the landing service, and they are gonna open the doors for me. I'm gonna hit U, and then and I'm gonna set everything. I'm going to go ahead and refuel as well. So let's go and hit F1 here. Go over here. And we need to repair. And then we also need to refuel some hydrogen here. So we'll kind of just chill here. Normally, if you're going to be quantum warping somewhere, then I would already initiate the quantum so it can kind of spool up. But we're not actually going to be traveling very far outside of the station here. So let's go ahead and take off by hitting the space bar. Kind of slow down a little bit. We're going to hit in to bring in our landing gear, and then I'm going to boost out, and we're going to kind of just fly down here towards these rocks here. We can use the scroll wheel to bring up our throttle. I usually try to like speed up quite a bit. You kind of have to go pretty far out here, and also the further you go out, it's easier to actually get back to station because you're far enough away that you can kind of warp back. So I'm going to go ahead and chill there. Let's go and talk about scanning. If you hit V, it's going to bring up scanning mode, and the scroll wheel here is going to bring down your angle. So we're going to be looking at about 90 right now. And what I want to do with 90 is it's going to basically scan in a cone in front of me. So I only want to look at stuff that's out here. If you hold down B and then release, that's going to give you a ping. And then we're going to start kind of looking around for... Right out here in the vicinity of the structure, you're going to see a lot of pings, but they're going to end up being salvaged, or vehicles, or soft destroyed starships that the Vulture can salvage. So we need to actually go a little bit further out. in order to find our rocks. And I'll just continue to kind of like ping kind of as we go. You can see quite a bit out there. We're going to need a little closer for those, but you can kind of go toward that little cluster right there. Let's speed up a little bit. Let our boost kind of refill again, and then kind of bring our throttle down. And then just periodically just be like kind of pinging as you go. So it looks like we've got some stuff down here. Go and slow down a little bit. You want to make sure you don't hit any rocks that might be hard to see. Let's go and get our heading right. So I'm going to head towards this one. You can also scan this out here. It's going to give you a little bit of information, but usually I just try to get close enough to where we get a decent rock. Not every rock you're going to be able to mine with this rental, mainly because of the mining head that's on it. You're going to be very, very limited on what you can do. We'll be able to confirm this is a rock when we get somewhere less than about 5,000 meters from it. So we're going to kind of just keep pinging and kind of get closer to it. This is the time consuming part. It takes you usually about 2 rocks to fill up the prospector. So if you're diligent and you take your time and you try to avoid as much inert material as possible, then you'll be able to utilize kind of your trip out. So what our goal is going to be finding a couple of rocks, mining those, and then going back to station and selling the raw. I usually sell the raw because it doesn't require me to wait for the reprocessing process. And also, if you reprocess the ores, then you have to put those in a hauler and then take them out to the TTD on one of the major planets and sell. So if you're just getting started in mining, it's better to just kind of like grab a rental and get some of the lower value stuff and just sell the raw directly. That way you don't have to actually have a hauler on hand. So now here we got 2 rocks here. I'm gonna hit M. I'm gonna go into mining mode. We're close enough. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna kind of see what this rock composition is. We can also now control our throttle from the mining mode, which is nice. This is actually a pretty decent rock. So we're gonna come in, and as you can see here, as I move closer, that scroll bar or that HUD on the left side of my reticle is starting to move. We're in the optimal range right now, so we're gonna get pretty close. And now, if you haven't done mining in a while, you can't go 0 power anymore. There's a minimum power of 5%. So power is going to be, it used to be adjusted by your scroll wheel, but that affects your throttle now inside mining mode. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to hold down Alt, and that's what's going to increase or decrease your laser power. So usually bring it down all the way just to get the laser turned on. Go and get that laser on. And our goal is to actually increase the power and keep the power inside the optimal window on the right. So we'll go ahead and kind of increase power here. This is going to be a challenging rock, so we might have to run it at 100% for a minute. And we can also get closer. We can't get much closer than we are now, so it might end up actually taking a minute just to kind of fill up that power bar. You can see on the right the charge level there. It'll slowly start to fill up. We can find little hot spots if we kind of move around the rock a little bit. This one is going to be a really good rock. It has 7% inert materials in it, and everything else is actually going to fill out pretty nicely. We could end up with another 25,000, hopefully a 25,000 credit raw order here. And I actually don't mind the charge level on the rock going up this slow, because that means when you get into the optimal window, it's going to be very, very stable, which is going to allow us to fracture this rock quite easily. So we're going to kind of just like hang out here. And once we kind of get into the optimal window, we're going to start lowering the laser intensity off of 100%. Kind of just let it kind of build up a little bit here. We'll probably bring it down to 70%. It kind of just really depends on how volatile the charge level is once it reaches that optimal window. So it's about to move in here. Once it actually hits the optimal window, then the optimal window will start filling up horizontally. And what we want to do is we want to kind of just hold it in this window until it's completely done. Another thing you can do too is just to get distance. When I start like getting really close, I start to back off a little bit just so the fracture doesn't inadvertently hit my shield. Alright, so there you go. We are fracked So these fractures that have the purple outline here means that we can go ahead and extract those. So we have to wait for the scan to go on. So this is actually a really good one. If we right click, we'll hit extraction mode. We'll go into extraction mode where we can start grabbing that stuff and putting it in our ore hold here. And then we can kind of just start looking around these other rocks. Kind of just hold over it, let it sit for a minute, for a few seconds, and it'll scan it. You don't want to try. You want to try to not get anything that's like a lot of inert material. This doesn't have any inert material in it, so we definitely want that one. We'll start filling this up, and we'll scan the one behind it. And I'm actually glad that we found this one little spot here with these two rocks. So this has 50% inert material, so we're probably going to wait on that one and see what these other ones look like. If you don't have a rental ship and you're actually able to put mods on your mining head, then you can get things that reduce the amount of inert material. This is 0% inert material, which means it's not exactly zero or it wouldn't be there, but it's less than zero. It's very, very minimal. So let's go ahead and grab that one and kind of keep looking. You see, we're about halfway full right now. So hopefully we'll be able to... This one's also 0%. This actually turned out to be a pretty decent rock for a rental ship. I don't think it'll fill us up completely, but it's going to be pretty close. Which hopefully this other rock that we're sitting next to is actually mineable with the mining head that we've got on right now. Alright. I want to actually look at... Where are we at? Here it is. I want to look at this rock real quick and just kind of see if it's possible to mine this. I really don't want to grab that one fragment down there that has like 60% inert on it. This has 13% inert. We'll go ahead and probably mine this one just so we can kind of like not have a whole lot of inert going on in our ore hold here. So we're going to switch back to fracture mode here. Go ahead and get pretty close. Get that laser turned on. This one says impossible, so we might not actually... So the reason it says impossible is because of the mass, and we don't have the power required. So if like we go all the way up to like 100% and come as close as we possibly can, you can see it's not going to move that charge level at all. It's just the rock is just too big for that, so we won't be able to actually mine that one. We have another rock over here, so let's go ahead and get out of mining mode. I'm going to go ahead and kind of approach this one. And that's the really big thing about mining in Star Citizen. You want to take your time. It's definitely not a activity like in other games where it's just, you know, something that is kind of fast and loose. You have a lot of control over what you kind of stack inside of your ore hold. And also comes even more important when you go to like redock at the structure and stuff like that, taking your time to land. If your ship explodes, then you will lose everything that you mine. So, alright, this one's also has a really high mass as well. So we're going to have to continue looking around to try to find something else that is usable. We see this one. Well, let's look at the composition here. Yeah, this one has gold in it. But this is a good thing to show here because the rental ship is just very limited on what it can mine. And a lot of that has to do with the mining head that comes on it and the fact that you can't change it. But I'm hopefully I'll be able to illustrate in this video that if you want to get into mining, even if you're renting that ship out, it's very, very possible to kind of build your way into buying an actual prospector. And that's what I've done in previous patches and stuff like that. Because my main ship is the Constellation Taurus, and that's my daily driver. But whenever I'm playing, I will essentially just mine in a rental until I can buy a proper prospecting game and then get it modded out with what I like, which increases my ability to mine things like quant and things like that. Let's bring our throttle down a little bit. We're going to kind of keep going in this direction. We'll see what this rock is. Hopefully we can find another one that is mineable for us. And also we're going further out from the structure, so that means that we'll be able to warp back pretty quick. And I'll try to show that process as well. Let's see. We can go... sometimes those little signatures will kind of move around a little bit. Let's go and go in here. I'm going to bring it up to 180 degrees. That'd be basically everything that would be in front of me. So we have a few rocks. I'm going to keep going out because I've found a lot of good rocks out here on the kind of fringes. Signature right here. Go increase our throttle a little bit. I probably made my first million just mining in right here outside the station. Let's do another ping. And it's probably the biggest frustration. Whoop, there it was. I saw it right there. Saw a rock. Let's go back into scan mode. I'm going to go back up to 360 so we can try to locate this rock. But I feel like we just passed. You can kind of see them a little bit when you pass them off. I don't see it. We're going to keep kind of searching. Come back down to 180. We can go out to this signature out here, about 10 kilometers away. We're definitely out here in the middle. We want to keep pinging just so we know that that signature is not going to kind of move anywhere. But I think, you know, the cost of the rental ship is actually not bad considering what you can make with it. Oh, there it is. Slow down. So we're basically space braking right now. I'm going to flip around and kind of get a good bead on this rock. I'm going to mining mode, see what it can tell me. Medium. Okay, so we can grab this one. This has Bex in it, so this would also add quite a bit of value. Medium difficulty is better than hard, so we need to keep going in to where close to that optimal line. But I like to go a little bit further than that. And so we can go at, this one might be a little volatile too, considering that it's a medium difficulty. So we kind of just turn it on at 5%. Hold down left alt and we'll kind of increase our power here. And kind of see how the rock reacts here. Doing pretty good at 42%. I try to just let the charge level of the rock go up kind of consistently. If you overpower it, then it can be really hard to kind of like control everything. So we're getting pretty close now. We're going to bring down to 20% and kind of let it build up a little bit more. We can move in a little bit as well. We have quite a bit of room to move. Bring it up like 1% or 2% here. Just want to let it stabilize a little bit. Bring it up to 35. There we go. Now it's about to like cross into the optimal window. And now we're going to bring it down to 6. When the power starts to degrade a little bit, then we can slide up the power a little bit more to kind of just keep it in there. Got a little bit of server lag. But that's kind of like the balancing game here. It's just kind of keeping it all. We'll bring it up to 31% and then back off. Backing off will also decrease the amount of power as well. So it's like kind of a micro adjustment that you can do here. And that is a fracture. Now this should allow us to pick, we don't have a whole lot of space left in our prospector, so we're going to be looking at these rocks and taking only the best one. That one's got 18%, that one's got 22% Bex and some inert materials in there. We want to see if we can find like something that has a higher percentage of Bex in it. This has got some Bex but has a lot of that can be fractured again. If it doesn't have a purple outline, that means it can be fractured one more time, which would be pretty difficult to do that one. But I don't think we need a fracture anymore. 4%. We've got some aluminum on that one. It's not bad. I want to try to see as much Bex as we can in here. And we're just kind of waiting for these little rocks to get scanned down. 14 and 85. Not great either. This is another rock that we'd have to frack. Get that scanned. And see what this one has. Bex, I actually like this one. But we're going to have to fracture this one in order to grab what we want out of it. I guess we'll do another secondary fracture here. Kind of move in a little bit. And the secondary fractures are going to be a little bit more volatile as well because they won't take as much power. See? 29% is just shooting it up. So when we get close to the optimum window, we could probably actually bring it all the way down to 5% and let it chill a little bit. It's degrading a little bit, but we can also move in a little bit closer and see if the power level goes up. So it's still degrading a little bit. Let's go up to like 10% there. Move in a little closer. We're trying to control how much that charge level kind of moves. We want it to be very, very stable. And with a rental ship, you don't really have a whole lot of options in terms of mods and things like that to help stabilize that and everything. So here we are in the optimal window now. And we're in a good spot right here. It's kind of just slowly going up. We can back off a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll try to plan on being a little far away whenever it fractures. That way, bring it down to 5%. There we go. Let's go into extraction mode here because I'm pretty sure we're going to want this rock. We'll go ahead and do a scan on each one of these as well, so we make sure we get the right stuff here. I like this rock. It's got 31 Bex and 68 aluminum in it. Let's look at... Bring our throttle up a little bit so we can move. Go and scan this one down. Aluminum, Bex, also a good one. And then we should be able to actually finish off our mining hold with what we've got in here. 4%, 99 aluminum. There's also a rock behind it. So let's kind of move around a little bit so we can see this rock back here. You can also hit L, which will turn on the light, just in case you have a hard time seeing. Ooh, 50% Bex. This one should... There we go. We are full cargo. Turn off the light, turn off mining mode. We're going to hit B to turn on the quantum drive system. And then where we're wanting to head is back to station right here. So we're going to go back to ARC L1 wide forest station. We're going to let that calibrate and everything. Spooling complete. And then we're going to hold down B. And we're going to warp right in there. And so what we're going to do now, we can turn off the quantum drive here. We want to control our speed too. We don't want to come in too hot. So our goal here is to actually just safely land everything, and then we'll get everything stored and all that. Once we get back into Armistice Zone, we'll be able to call landing services, and we'll have a hangar assigned to us that we can then dock in and everything. We're moving a little slow. We can kind of pick it up a little bit. Try to save our boost for our space brakes. I usually try to like aim for somewhere beyond the station just in case I can't slow down fast enough. I'm not directly heading towards anything to crash. So our speed's looking pretty good. We're coming in. We can start decreasing throttle. We just entered the Armistice Zone, so we can hit left Alt and in. And there we go. We have a hangar assigned to us now. So we can kind of just slowly kind of make our way up. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of like slow and steady. And the thing is when you start doing things like quant mining where you're timed, where once you mine the first bit of quant and you have a timer on how long you can get it back to station and docked, being very, very diligent and very methodical on your landing is going to save you a lot of headache. So just kind of practicing. We're going to get in. That brings down our landing gear. And we're just going to kind of square up on this door here. You can see it's starting to open up. And we're going to bring down our speed quite a bit, because it can be kind of finicky sometimes, especially if you're getting used to flying. We'll kind of bring our elevation up a little bit. Somewhere like that is pretty good. We can slow down even more. And we're just kind of slowly moving in. I try to just go right for this little window here. It's a good spot. You just fly all the way in, bring the speed down a little bit more, maybe not that much. And usually I would come in to where I'm like pretty close, and then I just hit control, keep my nose up, And there we go. We are landed. Next thing, I'm just going to hold down Y here. We're going to go ahead and get out of the Prospector here. We're not completely in the safe yet. If we have a disconnect or whatever, you know, things happen. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get back up to the lobby and get our ship stored. Once the ship is stored, all of our ore will still be in it. Then we can go to the refinery and look at our value. So go and call elevator here and wait for the elevator. It's probably the biggest waiting game is like when you're taking like trains and stuff in the main cities or the elevators. There we go. You want to make sure it says call elevator and then hit the lobby button here. So what we'll do now is we're going to go up to the lobby. We're going to get on to the ASOC and we're going to store our ship. Wait for everything to load here. Alright. So right here on the Prospector we can hit store. And now our goal is to just get down back to the refinery. Go over here to the interstation elevators here. And then go down to the refinery. There are 2 terminals in the refinery area. There is one for actually refining, and then there's one for just selling raw ore. I usually recommend people who are still in a rental ship, who are not operating their own prospector or doing very specific mining, to sell raw, because if you refine your ore, in order to collect that work order, you have to put it into a hauler, and then in order to make money off that, you have to send it and fly it over to like one of the planets and sell it at the market there. So just give you an idea what that looks like. This is the refinement center control panel here. And so you'd go in here, you hit begin, you go down here and go to your prospector and set up a work order, and then you'd be able to go in here and select what you wanted to refine. I usually use Fair Exchange because it just gets you the best yield and you can get a quote. And see, that would take 8 hours, right? And then once it's done, we'd have to put it in a ship, fly it to the trade, to a planet, and sell it. So instead of doing that, let's go over here to this terminal, ore sales, and we're going to select our location. Once it loads in, ooh, nice. So we ended up doing really well with the Terranite here, 37,000 on the raw. And so if you did 2 trips like that, you would have paid for the cost of the rental, which in 24 hours you can do multiple trips like that. So we're going to go ahead and sell that. That's a lot easier than waiting 8 hours and then going off to a planet and trying to sell it, because there's a lot of dangers in that too. Like you could suffer a disconnect, or you could get shot out or interdicted or something on the way. So this is the best way to actually kind of get started and everything. So we just from when I started, when I rented that Prospector, I've already made my money back from that, and I could do a trip like we just did several times, multiple times in the 24-hour window. And that's kind of how you kind of get started in mining, and eventually you'll be able to buy your own Prospector and be able to start putting on your own mining heads and things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and this gave you kind of an idea of how mining works and if it's possible to make a profit in a rental mining ship. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.